Welcome back to the SBRMMA podcast. I'm with today's guest, Luke Fairbairn. Fairbairn. Greg Souders Jr. This guy's been training for 3 years. He's an absolute animal. Been training under the Constraint-Led Approach. I think it's interesting. We're talking about the ecological approach today through the lens of someone who's trained it rather than coached it or just thought about it. You train Workshop Jiu-Jitsu under that?
Yeah. Patrick Tatau and Amy Barratt-Boyes, my coaches. So I guess from my end, there's a lot of podcasts with ecological coaches. There's a lot of podcasts with academics out there, but it's always, I think, interesting to hear from a practitioner and an athlete, especially one because DeAndre, you guys say that we jump on pods a lot, but one who's only trained ecologically. So especially in my first year of training, I didn't really know. I had heard the word ecological before, but I didn't really know what it was, and I had no idea how other people were training. So when I went to different gyms, I was like, what's going on here? So and then I over the last 2 years have dived pretty deep into what's actually going on, what the science says, and how Pat and Amy are designing our trainings. But yeah, full ecological purebred, as Greg would say. So I think some cool ideas and some cool things are happening in our room in Wellington.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's interesting because when you train under the Constraint-Led Approach, it's pretty simple. But unfortunately, the science is a little bit complicated. So when you listen to a podcast, it's the first time learning about it. For the mainstream, it might be a little bit confusing. But then, if you actually experience a room that does it well, it's simple and fun.
And it's especially when you see it in action, it's so approachable and understandable. I see it, I get pretty annoyed on the podcast, and I'll see a lot of the guys. I think Greg is pretty good at not doing this, but a lot of guys will be asked, especially they're on a jiu-jitsu podcast with guys like us, maybe the guys are a bit smarter than us, but just your average jiu-jitsu kind of layman, and they'll be asked what is the ecological approach, and they'll start talking about motor programs and how the information that exists in the world is not impoverished, and we don't have retinal images mapping onto our brains, and we have direct perception, and yes, that's I guess what a lot of the science jumps into, but it's pretty useless. When a lot of practitioners, and it's I don't think that's what the magic is in the room. The magic is all I'm focusing on is the information in front of me, what my partner's legs are doing, what their body is doing, what's happening around me, what my body is doing, and the only thing I'm focusing on is the information in the environment and how I can attune to that information and how I can pick up opportunities for action from that information, and how I perceive the world is not really you don't really need to know much about it to do it. All I need to know is I want to move your legs out of the way and hold you down and fuck you up.
for the layman or the people that haven't encountered the ecological approach or the Constraint-Led Approach, as an umbrella term before, what's the best definition in your viewpoint?
Yeah, so I guess for hundreds of years in pedagogy and teaching, and especially sport coaching, the way coaches have presented how we learn to move is through rote repetition, trying to nail the perfect technique. There's Bruce Lee quotes about doing 10,000 kicks over and over and over. What he means by that, I don't actually know, but there's been a lot of ideas around trying to get this perfect, aesthetically pleasing movement that looks really good, and we can it's technically perfect. So I need to throw a punch with my elbow like this, and we need to drill that punch, or we need to do that punch over and over and over again until it looks how some dude who's decided what he thinks a punch should look, and it's the same for jiu-jitsu and armbar should look. And I guess the ecological approach doesn't really care about how things look. It doesn't really care about it doesn't have a big appeal to authority. It doesn't really care what a coach says is effective, or what a coach says is fundamental, this is a fundamental jiu-jitsu technique. Like all it worries about is like effectiveness. So like what like the information in the environment like affords us, they say, like what we can do when we're grappling people. So I guess you could like split grappling it up into a bunch of different things that you decide exist. Like you're standing, you're guarded, you're pinning, and all we get students to do is focus on it, like attuning to the information that is there. So maybe we're playing a side control game, and we decide we want them to like progress their position to like a more controlling position. That's all that matters, like the winning condition and the outcome, and the magic is happening of them repeating the thing under live resistance. So they're getting all of this different information. And I guess, it seems a bit weird, but eventually the skills that people think are fundamental or aesthetically pleasing, if they are as effective as they say they are, they will just kind of emerge in that place. So yeah, you start people in whatever position you decide to be important. You get them to do something, to try do what you consider to be like a win, and they pick up on lots of information, and after a while they start like self-organizing around like what we see good jiu-jitsu to be. And yeah, I'm ranting here, but I guess it means that like we've all got different bodies. Like I'm like a larger dude, but there might be like a woman half my weight in my class, and it means that she can pick up on different information because her body affords her doing different things, and we can both have like cool, beautiful jiu-jitsu that works for us, rather than like me trying to teach her how to do something and me trying to teach someone who's 20 years my elder, or you know what I mean? Like we can all just kind of get the information that is relevant to us.
So I've been using these Breathe Ease Performance nasal strips and lip tape. So about 8 months ago, I had a surgery and I was really struggling with my snoring. And I've just been using the nasal strips and the lip tape. And that made such a difference. Julien, what is our discount code? SBRMMA 15 to get 15% off your Breathe Ease order. Guys, link in bio, check them out.
So you're doing away with like a cookie cutter approach. You're getting rid of that. And it's just like, adapt this for you.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not trying to follow like a recipe per se. Like I become the chef. And I feel like any good chef will like, I think the ecological approach does not just exist in sport. It's kind of like, it's everywhere. But I think that like a good chef will tell you that if you just, I'd imagine a good chef would tell you this, like if you just follow recipes over and over and over again, like the real magic in cooking is like playing and experimenting with all these different flavors and like, and kind of ecologically creating new dishes have to emerge ecologically. Like they, if you just follow the same recipes over and over, and Jack's decided what he thinks is a good recipe, and I follow that, how do we get new recipes?
It's the same thing with trying to figure out how you best learn academically, right? Like some people can sit in a lecture and just take a couple notes and they got it. Whereas other people need to go like utilize, what's the notes website where they pull up the flashcards? Yeah, SparkNotes and that kind of stuff to really dig it in, right? It's adapting the stimulus for you.
Yes, yeah, I think so, and I think that like it's the same. Like I don't actually understand too well, because I know that like when we're grappling and we're doing sport, it's not like as much memory and cognition going on as like a lot of people think. But I don't know how much like is happening when you're doing like maths problems or you're doing English. But then like from my experience with like I guess learning at schools is like I spent like 4 years doing French in high school, and I like used to think I was really smart because I could like nail the French pop quiz, because my mum would sit there for like hours after class and she would like, you know, we'd do like our little flashcards, and I'd go back to the class and I'd like try to nail my French grammar, and I can't speak any French. You know what I mean? So like I think the real magic in learning is the same as like the ecological approach kind of suggests. It's like the magic is in like doing it, and then in the nuances of speaking French or of doing maths or doing all these things like actually exist in the doing of maths. Like you don't need to memorize all your times tables. You maybe just need to like conceptually understand like what a times table is, or like, yeah, I think maybe that's like my idea. I honestly don't know too much about this.
So the base term is from psychology, right? Ecological, and it means the information in your environment, right? That was when the term was coined.
Yes, yeah. I think like I'd imagine like the ecology is like relating to like things that exist in the world around us, like in our environment. I think that's what it's suggesting. So yeah, I guess like it comes from a few different things. Like, and one of the big ones is like the ecological psychology. And I guess that's where you start getting into like more technical kind of brain neuroscience, and like, yeah, I still don't think like even the smartest people know like fully like what's happening in our brain. It's like such a complex thing. But I guess what the ecological psychology suggests is that we directly interact with the world. So like what I mean by that is, in a lot of cognitive psychology, like leading up to now, it's been my understanding that the way they teach people, humans interact with the world, is using our brain as like a computer. So our brain runs like high order programs or motor programs, and for Jack to do his armbar, he's got an armbar program that runs through his brain, and he can like nail this, he can like tighten this program down, and his brain kind of exists as this puppet master that like controls his body, and it's almost suggesting like the brain and the cognition is like completely like separate, and it's like a central executive that's like controlling our movement. And I guess like ecological psychology suggests that like the human body and brain is such a complex system that we don't really need to run, and it's so complex and like connected that we don't really need to run motor programs, and we can like interact with the world directly. So rather than to pick up my Cocobella, rather than having to run a program that says like, my Cocobella's here, this is how much it weighs, this is all these things that are happening. Like even if we think about like, this is what I think. If we think about how hard it is to get like AI and computers to do stuff, like the amount of shit that like would have to be like going on for me to pick up my Cocobella, like the amount of programs I would have to run or computations, I think like would just be so high. Maybe I'm like misunderstanding that, but if we as humans can do all these like crazy things and move in these crazy ways, and animals can move in these crazy ways, and like a hummingbird can move in all these crazy ways, I don't think that like motor programs like are necessarily the answer, especially because you can get like single-celled organisms that like can do like relatively complex tasks. They can like build little houses out of sand, and they don't even have a brain. So I guess like the ecological psychology suggests that we need a theory of perception that doesn't have exceptions. Like it doesn't have an exception when something doesn't have a brain or it doesn't have these things. And what ecological psychology suggests, kind of coming back around, is that to pick up my Cocobella, I can just directly interact with the world and say like, my Cocobella is pick upable. It seems stupid, but it kind of makes a lot more sense. Like my body and my brain are so connected, and the cognition that we think is happening is like not happening in the way that a lot of people think. I don't think I explained that very well.
No.
Hugh, are you managing to get up for 6 a.m. jiu-jitsu, but not for your partner?
No, I'm really lonely.
Well, if you did have a partner, you could use Vitality's patented aphrodisiac blend. And with our discount code, SBRMMA20, you can check out from the store, not from the bedroom, with 20% off.
Oh, yeah, that's not too hard. Unlike me.
No, that was good. Have you read The Body Keeps the Score?
Nah, I haven't.
So that dives a lot into the brain and body not being separate, but like it's all one organism.
Yes,
It's not
exactly.
Like you were saying, not the puppet master and then the flesh suit. It's like it's all one thing.
Yes,
Yeah. That's definitely worth the read. I reckon you'll like that.
Yeah.
You using tertiary education.
I have a girlfriend who studied a lot of cool shit. So,
Yeah.
Shout out girlfriend.
Yeah.
This could be a good quiz for you because you're studying primary education. And have you read about Bloom's taxonomy yet?
Maybe about a year ago, a little bit. Yeah.
Do you know the hierarchy of it's kind of what we use for secondary education? So at the bottom, off the top of my head, it's something like evaluating or understanding. Then there's like copying, analysis, synthesis. So synthesis is putting a few bits of material together to create something, and then creating. So creating is always at the top of the educational hierarchy means.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why would we ever copy someone else through rote repetition when we can correct?
Yeah.
It's a simple.
Now we're getting philosophical.
Yeah. But that ties into that. You're making it you're trying to solve a problem, but you're not doing it the way, I don't know, the way you solve a problem is going to be completely different to where I approach something, right?
Yeah.
And we've noticed because Jack and I work the desk here.
Yeah.
And there are certain things that he'll be all over and he'll smash it and he'll get it done really quickly. And I sit there and I look at it and I'm like, fuck, where do I even start? And then vice versa.
It's something you figure out that you just clean after me.
But it's those different approaches to solve the same problem.
Yeah, for sure. And I guess bringing it back to jiu-jitsu, because my technical explanations are probably not up to par. Like in our room at Workshop Jiu-Jitsu, obviously I'm biased and I have an idea of what I think is good jiu-jitsu and what I think is cool, and everyone does. But we've got some really cool weird and kind of wonderful grappling emerging. So I'm from Wellington, which is a relatively small city. Historically hasn't been a grappling powerhouse or anything. It's had a few good competitors, but it's mainly been small kind of local gyms, and my gym Workshop is having quite a lot of success on the competition scene in New Zealand. But what I think is probably the coolest thing from the ecological or the stuff that we're doing, just all the live grappling, is all this jiu-jitsu that isn't fundamental, just emerging, and it's super effective. People were just doing really cool shit. For example, we've got some we've got heaps of people with different body types in the room, and there's a few people with really, really short arms, they're little gnomes, they're just really, really stubby. And from my understanding with grappling fundamentals, if you look at a curriculum on a wall or something, everyone's going to tell you when you lock a rear naked choke, get your hand and cup their shoulder and put it behind their neck and strangle them, you know what I mean? But these people with short arms in our room have been nah, they've been given the freedom to play in this the attacking the back in these attacking the back games, and they've been well, hey, my arms are pretty short and they don't really afford me as well as Bobby Sandu's arms to strangle your neck. Yeah. So they're fuck, I'm not gonna strangle your neck, I'm just gonna choke your windpipe. And they just that short choke?
Yeah.
And they will just fuck you up because they're no one's ever told them.
Wow.
And this is people. This is not people who've been training for a long time. This is people 6 months in, and they're just they'll get on your back, and they got these short ups, and you just choke you. Once someone puts their hand on the head, which is the biggest no in jiu-jitsu ever, and they're in comp, they would short choke everyone, and I'm this is pretty cool. I don't see many other gyms doing stuff that is traditionally not allowed as much because it's been ingrained in them. Yes.
Have you ever read Kahneman's Thinking Fast and Slow?
Fuck. All these books.
Luke's going to leave here with a list.
Yeah. I'm just reading fiction, guys. I think the fiction is more ecological.
I came to Melbourne to train and these fuckers sent me back with a book.
Yeah.
Homework.
This is a really fun episode because this is so off-brand. I promise you, we don't speak intellects.
I've listened to the pod, boys. I know.
I might be real wanky and add that in the show notes, like book recommendations.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Let's do our version of Modern Wisdoms.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. One of the key tenets in that book is that there's two systems, right? There's a fast system and a slow system, and arguably like the fast gets you like somewhere quicker in the brain. And this could be the use of heuristics. So heuristics are like what Danaher would call general rules or general principles. And one of them in jiu-jitsu would be like don't expose the back, like it never face the back.
Yeah.
Someone who broke that rule really well, I think ecologically is Eduardo Teles, right?
Yeah.
And now you see in ADCC, what do people do as soon as points are on? They expose the back because it's a hindrance in the rule set, and then they stand or regard or something. They're breaking a heuristic. And the book argues that like heuristics might get you a solution faster, but they're kind of wrong. And it's interesting to your point that like with the hand on top of the head, the guys are still strangling people. They're like doing the thing. Like they're being efficient, they're being effective, but they're not doing it technically right.
Yeah,
but it's right for them. It works for them.
Yeah, like there definitely are things that are invariant, but they're like pretty simple. Like the only things that are invariant are like I need to like use like for a strangle ritual, I need to use my arms to like crush your windpipe or cut off your carotid arteries. Like everything else is like.
Let's explain that term because invariant's a super salient term in this field.
Yeah, it's like pretty like it's like a pretty big term in the eco stuff. Like my understanding of it is it's just like things that need to happen. So like whatever you want to happen when it happens, clear. For me to straight ankle lock you, I just need like some control of your ankle. I need like some control of your hip, like directly or indirectly. Like I could have it from like reverse close guard. I could have all these. I could have a control on your other hip, but through that control, I like indirectly have control of your hip, or I've got like an ashi garami or whatever, and I've got direct control of your hip. So
speak Japanese, bro.
Ashi senkaku.
Sudoku.
Yeah. So I've got. I think I've got like 3 invariant things that need to. Or there might be more or less, but I have got like some control of your ankle. I guess directly or indirectly. I've got some control. I've got control of your hip, directly or indirectly, and I've got the ability to like put my weight or like my strength through my like controls, right? To break it. But those, I've explained it in a pretty long-winded way. And like the way I think of it, like as an athlete, as not as a coach, it's like I need to grab your ankle and like control your hip and like break your leg. It's like not like it's not rocket science. I just need to I need to hold you down and like bend your arm backwards in the way that it doesn't want to go. Like that's for me as an athlete, like as deep as I need to go with invariants. Yeah.
Are they not just heuristics in a way? Like, cause there probably are other ways to break a foot.
Every way that I can break a foot, like, I guess, I'm just talking about like maybe a straight ankle, but I don't really know about the other ones. But every way I can think of to break a foot needs you need control of the ankle and the hip, but it doesn't have to be direct, right? Like, it's just some sort of, because if you're not controlling the hip, I can just stand up, right? And if you're not controlling my ankle, like you can't break my ankle. I think.
And for a rotational lock, say you need to control the hip and the ankle, and then bridge it to the side of the knee.
Yeah. Or like you can pull, I don't know. Yeah, but like especially, I think now we're like kind of splitting hairs on like what invariant is. And I definitely think as like a coach, you probably need to like do that. But I just think like as an athlete who's like only training live, I like never really need to think about that. And I'll roll with guys. Like obviously everyone here is like doing heaps of live work and like you're all really, really good. So it's never like that, like at places like this. But I roll at like more traditional gyms sometimes. I can like feel guys, I can literally see it in their face. Like Greg's talked about it. I can see them like thinking about like what needs to happen. They're trying to remember things. And I'm just trying to like, even like our most beginner, like white belts or whatever, they're just trying to like move your legs out of the way, trying to hold you down, like just like really simple stuff. That's what I was trying to do. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like when I was on the basketball court and I was like 15, I was like grappling my friend Harry. I was like, was I doing jiu-jitsu yet? Like, it's just grappling, right? And I'm just trying to like put him like double leg. I was trying to double leg him, and I was trying to like hold him down and then strangle him. But I didn't really know what I was doing. But like all the coach has to do is give me the environment to figure out like what I'm doing. But they don't really need to tell me anything. Like nothing's changed since I was grappling my boy Harry on the basketball court, and he bulldog choked me. The prick. But and nothing's changed. Like I'm still the same guy. Like I don't like have this like vast depth of technical like knowledge like per se. I've just gotten like better at moving Harry around and better at like picking up the information there, like picking up like what he's doing with his weight. Maybe I've gotten a bit stronger, but yeah, like I don't think that even the like word jiu-jitsu is a bit like
So just grappling.
just grappling. We're just grappling each other. Like,
Well, that approach to learning's gotten quite big in other sports, right? Like you look at a soccer coach, right? Is not going to have you do a million fucking free kicks. Like that's not accomplishing anything. They're going to set up a few puzzles. Okay, solve it.
even then though, I think that like we've got so far to go in like all sports. Just from my opinion, like this is what like Rob Gray talks about a lot. He's like one of the big ecological guys. The GOAT. King Souders, King Rob Gray. My little praise.
That's how you got this big A. You didn't pray to Allah.
Yeah, I got like a Greek Souders shrine in my room. I got Rob Gray shrine. There's a few other shrines, like small demigod shrines. Or
Do you have a picture of Aaron Kaminsky with the dunce hat?
Yeah, I stalked his Instagram last night. I was like, that's so, on site next time. Can't be just my boy like that. I just think we got a long way to go in all sports. Like when I was playing rugby, when I was like 12 years old or whatever, like fuck, they have us like running around cones. They have us like doing all these drills, like trying to memorize the set plays.
Right.
And like I guess the big thing that like the eco guys talk about is like if us three like are on a soccer team together and like we show up to practice together. And like this is like our time. We're all together and we can all play the sport we love. And it's like you've got all these humans here and these like bodies that can interact with each other. You've got them running around cones. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's like what are we doing here? Like we could be like playing the actual game that we like to play and like getting way better. But instead, you've got us doing something that like I could do like in my backyard.
Yeah.
So like I think that we got a long way to go. Like in pretty much every sport that I've seen, where it's like getting kids or getting all people to play to train in a way that's like actually representative of the way they're going to be competing.
We see glimpses of the Constraint-Led Approach whenever you hear stories about the GOATs of different sports, right? So I think when I started to learn about it, it really reminded me of that. A good example would be the Brazilian kids in the favelas, right? They
just play soccer.
They will play soccer all day with a beaten ball, although there's two interesting constraints. They couldn't afford shoes, so they need to get really good at dribbling rather than like booting the ball hard. Yeah. One, and two, they also played in a short-sided court, like on the street.
Yeah, which creates a way faster and more technical game because they can't just boot it.
Yeah, way more touch time. Whereas in a huge field, like where you're dribbling the ball for a long time, rather than like engaging with resistance, like players and stuff being close to you, all this stuff going on the street, then of course they're going to get better.
Yeah, for me, especially with that, I think that like those things are really cool as well. I think that the two like super magical things there as well is like they're all playing with each other. So we've got kids from like age like 7 years old to age like probably 20 all playing with each other. So they're getting heaps of like variability in their practice. So they're getting really good at like interacting with different sorts of bodies, like essentially like attuning to like novelty and like novel situations where like someone's bigger than them. They're playing, maybe sometimes the ball's smaller, maybe sometimes the ball's bigger, and they're like doing live training, but they've got so much like cool variability, and then they're probably like also being like really playful and
Yeah.
like having lots of fun. You know, that's the big thing with like for me with the eco stuff. Like, to be fair, we do scrap pretty hard at like Workshop on like certain like comp training nights and stuff like that. But the majority of our training is like so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, we're just like getting in there, we're like fucking around, we're like laughing with each other, and like we're not taking ourselves like too seriously, and we're just like playing these little games, and like it's just like actual like fun training rather than like I think there's like a big narrative in jiu-jitsu, especially like the guys who are like the hyper intelligent guys that you have to study and you have to like technically like, you know what I mean, and it becomes like a bit like a chore.
Yeah.
And it's like, to be fair, maybe like I'm coming from a pretty biased perspective, so maybe there's like some benefit, and I think there's a benefit to lots of different things, and maybe they're getting things that I'm not. But just like for jiu-jitsu, like grappling, for like the general public, it's like just have them playing like fun games. Like they don't need to be like these like guys wearing like rash guards and bum bags like with a little like notebook. They can just be like people who like come in and like to just like play and have fun, and it like just makes the whole sport like.
I swear I read somewhere that you learn way easier when you're actually enjoying the process of it. There was maybe I'm mixing things up. They were talking about how the majority of learning as a kid occurs through play.
Yeah.
Right. So like, you know, I don't know, 3 years old, you in the park with your dad or your mom or whatever, and they kick a ball to you or they chase you, and you learn how to be balanced when you're running, and that kind of stuff, right? I don't know why that has to change as you get older. It makes no sense to then be like, oh, as we age, the way we learn changes. Not necessarily.
So true.
Like you're just a bigger kid.
That's
bigger.
Everyone thinks like when you hit 18, it's like you're now like this.
Must be serious. Yeah.
And you look at how babies learn. They're like, how babies like learn. They're just like touching things and like falling over.
And they learn way quicker than adults.
Than adults. But like that's how adults also learn. Like by like just doing this. Like that's how I learned how to go.
Yeah, just throw.
I just get my hands.
I
get my hands on you a lot. But yeah, I think like especially but humans just think like. Obviously, like we're the most intelligent animal or whatever, and I think that like once we become adults, we start to think that like our intelligence like takes over and means that we like learn differently from like babies or animals or like all these things. But like I guess conceptually, like fundamentally, it's like same shit, right?
Yeah, I don't get as excited in life as I did as a teenager learning new things.
Yes.
Yeah, I think adding play in our life is way more important. I feel like I was more in tuned to the environment when I was younger.
Yeah.
It was new, exciting. I had so much time to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's boring as we get older.
But with the eco stuff, at least we can try like make it as exciting and like fun as possible.
Just the funnest thing ever made.
Yeah.
Move fast, break shit. Hopefully not your training partner, but or yourself. But like, throw shit at the wall until you find an issue with what you're doing, then try to fix it.
What I've been trying to read into CLA or just observe CLA in striking sports. I know the Cuban boxers have a good example. They play like 2 hours of shoulder tap.
Yeah.
And that's like super important when it comes to brain health too. They're not getting, like hurt.
Your brain is
ways you reckon you've seen in Muay Thai or boxing.
It depends on the coach. Like
represented.
Yeah, it depends on the coach. If they're a coach that is really switched on to the room, it'll be a lot of games. I find coaches have an easier time doing it once they know the room. They're a little bit hesitant when it's a new room and they don't necessarily know who's a spaz and who isn't. But I remember like the sessions we did with Sam, he'd have maximum like 2 set combos, and then the rest of it would be like, all right, the combos were to introduce a principle, and now you're just building around the principle.
Yeah.
Go.
So there's actually a guy in America, or there's probably maybe a few popping up there, but this guy called Scott Seifert. He's like one of the OGs of the game, of the eco stuff, and he's like been running a fully ecological MMA program for 5-10 years or so.
Yeah, smart.
I guess like the things that you probably have to think about is like we still want to have people like playing like live fun games, but there's like a bit more risk involved with head trauma and stuff like that, especially if you're like running beginners classes. Like you don't want people getting KO'd
Yeah.
or anything like that. So he's doing like mainly I think his fundamentals is just like pancration, so it's like body sparring and leg kicking.
Sick.
Which, in my opinion, like people argue that it's like not because it's not representative of a fight, right? But I think like for that level, it's like representative enough, and like it's a lot more. I've been to a few. I train like a little bit of kickboxing for like a couple months, but I've never had a fight, guys. And I'm gonna go crazy here. Everyone's gonna show me now. Pads fake. Pads are fake. Hitting the bag probably a little bit fake, but depends. Like maybe getting a good workout in. But the real magic comes from like live. Yeah. So I think the body sparring is like representative enough, and then eventually once people that build trust, they would be doing like. And then like shoulder tag and stuff like that. But then eventually they'd just be doing like live striking games with like winning conditions.
I think the problem with the games for striking is that it's a little bit quicker than grappling, where you sometimes you build shit habits very quick, and then you need to go back to drilling.
There's no such thing as
yes, yeah. So
if you're depends.
Like what is a shit habit in striking? Like if you can give me an example.
8 times.
Okay, so if we purely dependent on body type, body size, right? But simplest one is coming in as you get in, getting close range, you throw your shots, and as you go to exit, you drop your hands. If you have someone quick enough to catch you there, as soon as you back up, right? So then to address that problem, wouldn't the easiest way for that, and I definitely agree that 99% of the time, playing is way better, but occasionally you do need those moments where you're like, fuck, I've been caught with that a few times. Let's just work on not getting caught with that.
So I guess there's like a few things there. I guess the first thing is you can't train striking to the same like intensity that you can grapple at. So like maybe it's the fact that like I keep hitting you when you're exiting the pocket or whatever, and like because we're not hitting each other hard, like you don't really acknowledge that is like a problem. So maybe that's something that like we have to have a conversation about. But in terms of like that being like a fundamental in striking, like I could scroll through some MMA fights and I could find you like a million examples where like the thing you're talking about like happens, and like people don't get, like people have success that they do something differently, and like Dricus Duplessis is my ecological king. Yeah, because like he's doing like everything wrong. And like I guess like things. The thing that I've experienced with like striking or kind of all martial arts is like people have decided what they think is important, like for whatever reason, and it's usually what they think is like aesthetically pleasing or like what they think is like going to be effective. Like they'll look at Israel Adesanya and they'll say he's doing like all these things. Let's make like a million Israel Adesanya clones. Right. But the idea, if we play enough live games and we make them representative enough, if that like exiting the pocket is as big a problem like for your body as you say it is, you'll just stop doing it. Like hopefully, maybe sometimes like I will need to acknowledge this as like a problem for you, and I will need to constrain you to solve that problem. But I don't think at any point I'll need to tell you, unless it gets to like, even then, okay, maybe I'm questioning myself here, but I think like you can always fix the problem through constraining, like through like the ecological approach talks a lot about like roots, not branches, is like an idea. So I want to give you the roots for the skill, for the skill tree that you're developing to emerge. But if I just give you the branches, like which is don't keep your hands up when you exit the pocket, like you might miss out on some like cool stuff where when you're
some counter on
you're doing some cool shit, you're doing some Dricus Duplessis where you headbutt his punch. I don't know. But look, I get where you're coming from. Striking's hard because it's like there's you can't train as hard as you fight, and there's a lot of risk going on. But like I pray to the ecological gods that if you constrain the situation enough, like the behaviors you want will emerge.
I think there's 100% a way to do it. I think it's working that out is going to take a little longer, just given the speed of the sport.
Yeah.
This is into what we were talking about earlier, that like heuristics might like give you a faster solution, but they're not perfect.
No.
And if you can like create your own idea, like that's gonna work better for you.
It'll stick
Sure.
better.
Just like like there was a period in jiu-jitsu where people didn't believe like locks worked.
That's right.
And then DDMs, etc. came out, and Eddie Cummings proved everyone wrong. Now they're like a part of the jiu-jitsu metaverse. Right?
Yeah. Or like the don't expose your back. Like there's so many things. The don't expose your back is like akin I think to like keep your hands up when you get in the pocket. Like my boy Warner back home, he just got his blue belt. He is ecologically figured out that his bottom turtle is his top turtle. I don't know. Like he exposes his back to everyone, and then he like does like a roll and like strangles them.
Well, like I rolled with Priest's like turtle king early, like
Bottom turtle
king. Bottom turtle king. And it felt like because of his body shape, he's got a thick neck. It felt like a bad position, right? And like in even the early turtle rat, there's the idea from judo of staying retracted and close. He, like you do, Luke, he goes super extended, right? Like a position akin to collegiate wrestling.
Yeah, for yourself, like
referees,
4 point or whatever.
Yeah. It feels like a bad position. It should be. I should be able to strangle him every time.
Even Felix, like the buggy choke guy.
Yeah.
Like he like buggy choked me. He was doing like all sorts of crazy shit to me. Shout out Felix. Yeah. I met you yesterday, and I still have trauma from it. But like he's doing like everything like fundamentally wrong. And if I can find you like so many examples of like outliers and like even like the perfect tick, like even the guys who aesthetically look perfect, if I can find you like examples of them doing like things like fundamentally wrong so much, like I guess the narrative has been for so long in sports, like we need to get you fundamentally perfect, and then once you're an elite performer, then you start doing things wrong and you start like but if you don't have the fundamentals, you can't do that. But I think especially in like sports like basketball or like all of these sports with like heavy emphasis on like these fundamentals, people will talk about that, like having the perfect shot before you can start doing like all these other things. But if there are all these outliers, that we start to realize like the outliers like aren't really outliers. Like the magic is just in the person rather than like the rules that like some dude has decided.
What could we say that are like major individual constraints, like your body type, your personality, and what the environment you're in, like the training room probably? Would there be any more?
I won't be able to remember, but conceptually I think it's like internal constraints, environmental constraints, task constraints, but everything is a constraint. Like the more you think about it, like the more things that are happening. So like when I'm rolling with people and I'm like trying to do an ankle lock on them, every time I'm trying to do that ankle lock, their leg and the degrees that their leg are moving at is a little bit different. The amount of sweat on their leg is a little bit different. The room I'm in, the temperature I'm in is a little bit different. My mood is different. How fatigued I am is different. Like you start to count how many things are different. Maybe the lighting is different. Like those are small ones, but like his ankle is less thick than other people's ankles that I've ankle locked before to some small degree. The way his foot flexes, like once you start like realizing how many things are going on, you start to realize like trying to like prescribe like a human body is like so like chaotic and can move in so many weird ways like on its own, and you put like two of them together, you start to realize like there's so much like shit going on. Like let's not try to like tell people how to do things. Let's just try to like get them to do them.
What's if you're allowed to give away the secrets, but what would be a classic class design on a say Monday night at Workshop? Because I'm aware you train the whole game.
Yeah.
But what could like vaguely class look like?
Yeah, I'll give you all the game stuff, but I won't give you our one secret technique. We've got the one technique. We got the new technique that no one has heard about before.
You drill that one close.
Yeah, we drew. I've drilled that one. But I'm not busting out. I've got my notebook full, but I'm not busting it out until like I'm ready. And once that secret technique comes, like it's good. Can I change the game? No, so we'll try to play like the full game every day. So our normal classes are like an hour of games and then like an hour of rolling. I know other like CLA guys do that differently. Like they won't do as much rolling on like the average things, and then do the open mats on the weekend. But we're just like a community local club, and like people want to roll. So we'll do like the standing engagement every day. So 2 people standing, wrestling, like trying to get each other to the floor, or maybe like guard pulling is like part of that. Like going from the standing engagement to like a ground fighting engagement, I guess. We'll do the guarded engagement, or we'll do like a pinning engagement. So pinning means anything of like chest to chest, chest to back, like submissions. We would consider like pins, like an armbar as a pin, a submission hub is like a pin, and not necessarily a pin, but it's like I'm controlling you. Yeah. It's like I have like immobilized you to the point where I can do things to you. Yeah. So like, yeah, we often start with like a bit of flow wrestling, a bit of just like playful, like maybe a flow wrestling, flow no-gi judo, flow Greco-Roman wrestling. Like that first like 5 minutes is often like just to get people warm, like get people moving. And then I guess like Pat and Amy have like gone through things and they've decided like it's really hard to do. They've gone through, and I know he's got some big Excel spreadsheet of like what things are important to him in jiu-jitsu and like how much time he should spend on it. So maybe in like a standing engagement, he thinks that like fighting from an underhook should take up some percentage. Like he would just do it by weeks, right? Like what weeks we're doing what. But he thinks that like fighting from an underhook and trying to take your opponent down from like an underhook is like important for 5% of the weeks, and fighting from an overhook, and he's decided all of these things, and then we just play a lot of games around that. So a lot of our games in the standing engagement will be channeled to getting like a closed loop. So that's like a connection we think is like super valuable. So we'll start in different situations, like maybe we'll start from an underhook and overhook. We'll start with a leg with the collar tie or something like that, and we'll say you want to get this closed loop, and you want to get a body lock, or we'll start with a closed loop and we'll say you want to move to another closed loop, and then maybe we'll start with a closed loop and we'll say you want to get your partner to the ground. Like it's not really rocket science. Like there will be a lot more constraining going on, but it's the same with the guarded. You might start with like a certain position or a certain like control of the leg. Maybe you want to strip the control of the leg and free your leg. Maybe you're starting with like a good guard passing position. You're starting with like an underhook from like a tripod or something, and then you're trying to get past the legs. So like once I guess the hard part is like keeping people on task, like deciding what constraints and deciding like what behaviors are important. But like the games, like they're like what you would think are like the games you would play, you know what I mean? Like it's not, we're not trying to like reinvent the wheel in terms of jiu-jitsu. We're like playing like we're in an armbar hub, like bottom player try free your elbow, top player like try to disconnect their hands.
Yeah, isolate them and break them.
Yes, yeah. So it's not like there's nothing like really secret going on. It's just like we're just doing a lot of live grappling, and we're doing like a lot of just like simple games like over and over and over again. Like we're repeating things a lot, but we're doing repetition like without rote repetition. So we're repeating outcomes a lot, but we're not repeating the way we get to that outcome.
So I had a really interesting conversation with Greg at Monkey Worlds last year. I asked him a billion questions. He was like very gracious with his time, so generous. Athletes like about to jump on, and I'm like this little purple belt, frothing me. He's like answering all my questions. I was just talking his ear off for about 15 minutes. One of the really interesting things I learned from him, I asked him like how do I know my games when I'm like teaching a private or whatever class? How do I know these are the right games, even if I'm creating my own practice? And he said like that's the most difficult thing. You have to watch the room or the athletes like often,
Yeah.
and like figure out what's right for them, because you can't force like behaviors to emerge.
Yeah,
Even if you think they're the right ones. Something he said he struggled with at the start. I think that's really interesting.
And it's not like a cookie cutter approach, like we were saying earlier. But the game, like, it's not just a cookie cutter approach with the technique, but the games aren't like a cookie cutter approach. Like, I can't give you the games. You know what I mean? Like, I'm setting constraints for the room. Like, maybe it would be more. I think maybe the ecological approach could be more effective if you were coaching like not 1-on-1. You know what I mean? Like, sorry, 1-on-2. So I'm saying like, I'm setting constraints for you guys because I know like your jiu-jitsu and I know what I want to constrain. But like, you have to coach to a room. Like, you'll say how this sport has to be done. So I can't cookie cutter my games and my constraints for you. I like have to set games for the room, and I have to like constantly like be monitoring the room. I like Pat will like probably like 5 times a session like pipe up early or halfway through a game and be like, okay, these are some newer constraints. Like, what I think is happening is not actually happening to the degree that I want it to. Like, let's move things around. Maybe in the room, just in general, he sees like behaviors start to emerge that like bad habits. Not bad habits, but he sees like areas that people could like improve on more. So he'll like constrain to afford people opportunities to explore those areas like a little bit more. So yeah, like once I think that people think like once you get the eco stuff and you understand kind of how it works, it's like you know, you've got it, and let's just like, we've got our games for today, let's just do it. But like, Pat has been coaching in this way for probably like 5-6 years, and he is like a master game designer now, in my opinion. But he seems to think, he has said to me like, he only feels like he's just like scratching the surface on like what he can achieve in terms of like expertise of like coaching the re. And then like also like how you design practice, I guess, would be like the science of coaching or whatever. But there's like also like a massive art to coaching as well. It's like how you deliver information, like how enthusiastic you are, like you know, like how you motivate the room, like how you get them engaged, like how you monitor like your athletes like fatigue levels. Like, there's just so much going on, and like a bad coach is probably going to be a bad coach whether he uses the information like technique model or the eco model. Like, yeah. And just because like a coach, that Pat also seems to think that like the more he gets into the eco stuff, he realizes that there's like so much more depth to coaching like outside of it, and how you like interact with your athletes, how you you know, get, because if you can't like motivate people to get, like you were talking about being excited and like liking and things and having fun, like that is like so much of like the powerful part of like how humans learn. So if you can't even get that, like, it doesn't fucking matter if you're doing like whatever. Yeah.
What I'm interested that might emerge in CLA is using analogies in the place of like invariants.
Oh, we got analogies. Yeah.
Like, you're saying some pretty interesting ones. I don't know, maybe I'm like English lit biased, but like example I noticed with this, I tried to like, I don't know, you have to be creative with this. Obviously, it's difficult, but I was teaching a kids class once, and I thought about like we were doing a chest to back game, and I thought like they're like trying to be a backpack, so I called the game backpack.
Yeah.
I played the game 1 week, and I said like, okay, kids, like lock your hands and try to stay there. And the bottom person just wants to shake them off, and like they didn't get it. Like they were like, I don't know, doing weird stuff.
Yeah.
Next week, I called it backpack. I'm like, okay, you're a backpack. Top player, you've got to be a backpack. Just stay on their back. It did so well that the bottom player like knew they had to take the backpack off, so to try and strip the grips. Like the analogy works so well with kids because their mind is inherently creative and like attuned to storytelling.
Works well with adults too.
Yeah,
Like we'll play Squash the Bug. We'll play
Squash the Bug.
We'll play Angry Pants game. We'll play like all sorts. Like we've got some silly analogies, and some of them are less silly. Like we'll play like in the pocket game and like all of these things. And it's not just like the name of the game. It's also like how because Pat, he's not just like giving us, or Pat and Amy, they're not just giving us like a quick like 20-second spiel and then being like, you underhook, you do this, you know what I mean? Like there's still like value in like demonstrating what you want to happen in the game and like describing it conceptually. So he'll say like let's say I've got a single leg and I am I'll do a turtle game. He'll say like, well, when I'm controlling bottom turtle and I've got like a closed loop around their body, you know, maybe I'm from the back, I've got a closed loop around their body. Like he'll talk about like having like a donut around a cylinder. And if you think about it, if you put like a rubber tube or something around the cylinder can move like this way and that way. Mm-hmm. So then if we break our closed loop and we've got like, the Dagestani grip, so we're grabbing the actual arms, or we're grabbing like inside of the legs and stuff. Like now, like because we've got like these hooks in our cylinder, like the cylinder can't roll back and forth, but it now can like, you know, do different things. Mm-hmm. Or he'll talk about like when you've got a single leg, you can like drive the bus and like steer someone like this way, steer someone that way, because you've got like a control of their leg, control of their head. So you steer the bus this way and then they like fall over. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'd probably like butchered his analogies to like, yeah. But I think there's like so much in the language that we use to like teach people, and like there's, yeah, because it's all language, you know what I mean? Like the only way you're coaching is through language, whether you like it or not. Mm. Like the words that you say, like, yes, are gonna be the things. They're gonna be the only influence of the things. I guess there is like demonstrating as well, but like 90% of it is just the language that you use.
And through communication, we learn best through storytelling, for sure. Like doing things through play, I think is the optimal strategy. Learning like communicating cerebrally, I think storytelling analogies are very effective.
I think so. Yeah.
Why else would we both read fiction books?
Dude, the fiction books, most ecological things. I used to read so much non-fiction. I'd be like, try to self-improvement, you know, like become smarter and become all these, you know, become a better person. And I was like, someone prescribing how to be more motivated and how to be better. I guess like maybe it can get you started, give you some ideas, but like most people like know how to like, you know, improve their lives and like do things like that. So you need, but like prescription isn't going to do it. At least for me, it wasn't. So if I get, you know, if I can get some sort of moral feeling, or like I can get some like, you know, cool ideas out of this like fiction book, it's been like much more, you know, impactful for me. But yeah, read the fiction. That's the ecological way.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. What have you? So you've been training for just under 3 years.
I want to check, what time is your flight? Because it's like 2:30. I don't really miss it.
Yeah, maybe go for like 10 more minutes. Yeah, 10 more minutes. Yeah, cool.
I knew it.
You're Swiss shot. Okay,
Ecological.
I don't have that. I can check my phone.
Time is indeed a constraint.
Yeah, this is a constraint. It's really a construct. I don't believe in time. I just do stuff. As you know, as you both probably know. When am I early? I might.
You're early a fair bit.
I think so.
I don't know if it's on purpose, but sometimes most of the time.
Yeah. I'm never on time.
But you're making yourself sound like an asshole. He's very good, and he more than carries his weight. So if he's a little late, he gives him shit. Yeah.
I don't think about it too much. You've been training for just under 3 years.
Yeah, probably 3 years.
What have you won in New Zealand?
So I just took out the purple belt nationals at my weight, and then the open weight.
Nice.
So double gold nationals. And I've taken out like some other comps, like some advanced comps and stuff like that. I don't think it's really like good, especially for like how we design training, to like look at an individual, because like lots of other people have like won way better shit in like 3 years. Like you look at
you've done some good stuff.
Yeah, I've done definitely done some good stuff, but then like yeah, like
Mate, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah, exactly.
You compare yourself, but with Bilal,
yeah,
a tough time.
That's
Bilal
that's
is,
what I'm saying.
Anomaly.
Again, I just think like in order to
Shout out Bilal.
shout out Bilal. I can FC Palestine. I love you, Bilal. Yeah, I just think like in order to like look at like a training approach holistically, like you can't really look at like one individual. Like you've got to look at maybe like a room of people. You just got to look at like kind of trends that are emerging. And I think like for our city and like for our like the amount people train and things like that, we're having like heaps of success as a gym in competition. But you know, I've like won some good stuff. I'm pretty dedicated to the sport. So like whether I guess there's like so many things that go into like creating like a good athlete, and like how they train is like a big part of it. But it's also like there's all these other things, you know, like going on. So I definitely think that like people can get, as we know, like get to like crazy high levels without like doing this approach or that approach. But it's like they talk about like the talent graveyard a lot in like eco stuff. Like how do we like let's not look at the individuals who are like exceptionally like talented. Like let's look at the ones that like could have been really talented, but like kind of just like for whatever reason like didn't get there. Maybe they got injured, or maybe the training wasn't really for them. They weren't really motivated. So yeah, trying to look at like the room as a whole and like the individuals that like, you know, didn't quite achieve their full potentials. Like probably a better way for like evaluating an approach or like a training design. But we're gonna win some big shit still. Okay.
Let's go. What's next for you, mate?
So I kind of want to try follow as best I can. It's gonna be hard to follow to the same degree that the Bilal arc. Like take out as much as I can in New Zealand. So like won some all good comps in New Zealand. Like I've beat a black belt or two, and like we've definitely got some like some real good grapplers in New Zealand that I am yet to face. So in the next like I guess probably a year or two, try face as many of the top guys in New Zealand and like really cement myself as like one of the best grapplers there, and then maybe kind of come to Australia and see what I can do. Like it is tempting to like want to jump in and do some international comps and things like that, but I think like we were talking about, Jack, like until I feel like I'm ready to win them, it's like not much point. Like if I haven't beaten everyone in New Zealand, like why am I paying $1,000 to fly to Australia to verse guys that I could verse in New Zealand, just in terms of like my level. I think New Zealand's in like a real cool spot right now in terms of like what's happening with Jiu-Jitsu. Like I know the Australians probably have been saying for a long time, like New Zealand has, until Bilal came along, New Zealand like it doesn't have the greatest Jiu-Jitsu, but I like rate NZ Jiu-Jitsu like really, really highly. We just have like a way smaller population, and like we haven't had the resources for like to kind of break out on the world stage like just yet, and like now we're starting to see it happen. But like we have all these like local legends who have like progressed the sport like so much like from where it was. Because if you think about like 30 years ago when like Jiu-Jitsu started popping off, where Jiu-Jitsu was in New Zealand, it's like down here. Like we've had all these local legends who've like brought the level up so much through like their training, through them like building gyms and like building communities and like building relationships all around the country. So now you can actually travel in New Zealand and like get good training in, go to good open mats. And now that all of these guys, like all of the black belts and top guys in New Zealand have like established that, I think we're gonna start seeing like some shit start to pop off. Like if you think about like where Craig was and like Craig Jones was in like Adelaide, and he was like a good purple belt in Adelaide, and like back then he was a good purple belt in Adelaide. He was like maybe starting to get really good, and he had the opportunity to like go move to Melbourne and like then like start leveling up crazy and like become a world-class competitor. But imagine if Craig was just stuck in Adelaide, like he couldn't really go anywhere. I feel like that's kind of what's been happening in New Zealand. And then you guys like Craig, or your New Zealand versions have just been like lifting up the level so much. So now we're coming.
Sick. Sick. There's some good Good MMA in New Zealand.
Oh,
But
yeah.
MMA,
Yeah.
kickboxing has been fucking phenomenal.
I think
for
so.
ages.
That wasn't me trying to take away from the level of any New Zealand martial art. I just think we're at this point, especially in jiu-jitsu,
That's
where,
explode.
we're
It's gonna
already,
be a-
we're gonna explode.
Combat sport powerhouse.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yeah,
Especially per capita. Like we're already a combat sport powerhouse per capita in
Yeah.
MMA and kickboxing, and
Yeah.
we're gonna see it in jiu-jitsu.
Really
too.
need to push some propaganda for the Maldives to move away from rugby and go into jiu-jitsu. Everyone's
Everyone's
best.
fucked. Yeah.
Best natural athletes.
Fine.
Fijians and Samoans too.
Yeah, get the Tongans in
Oh,
there.
Tongans.
Yeah. And we got
Wow. Like natty athletes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like imagine a 120 kilograms Tongan with Gordon Ryan spade technique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Holy
like
fuck.
so if some of like the rugby prospects, if we get them into a good ecological jiu-jitsu gym and get them all together, like, everyone everyone's fucked.
They're flexible too. Like,
Yeah,
they have the attributes for jiu-jitsu.
We've got this guy, like one of my mates from Christchurch. His name is like Issei, and he's like a 6'8", 180 kg. I think I might fuck this up. I think he's Fijian. But
That's a huge
and he started. He was brought over
Wow.
from the islands for rugby,
Yeah.
and he started to train MMA.
Yeah.
And he can do the full middle splits.
Oh.
It was crazy. He was actually in Dan Hooker's backyard brawl. Anyway, I don't know him super well. I just remember like this is the biggest man I've ever seen. Like the biggest man I've ever met. One, he's training MMA. Two, he can do the splits. I'm like, if we get more of those guys, like
over.
the heavyweight division is
fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu, UFC, like it's over.
I'm never weighing more than 78 kilos.
Yeah. Even me, like I've done a big bulk, and I'm like up at like 95, 96 right now. I'm like I look at some of the other guys, and I'm like, let's cut some weight.
Oh man.
Sweet. Any closing questions, thoughts, anything else you wanted to?
That was awesome. You clearly have a very good understanding of what you're talking about. Very cool to listen. The way you talk about it too, you hear a lot of people trying to explain the ecological approach, and I feel like I knew more about it before I asked them any questions about it.
Yeah.
This made sense. You have a very, I don't know, yeah.
I think
if anyone doesn't understand it, I'm going to recommend them this. That was really
At a basis, it's quite simple. Just train more, get better.
Train more, get better. Do live training, have fun. Like I definitely want to get. I'm like over the next few years, I have this like nightmare of becoming like the dumb jiu-jitsu guy. So I want to educate myself more in this area. But I do think for like the general jiu-jitsu like person, you don't need to know much about like how the ecological approach, or like you don't need to have theories of perception or know about your perceptual motor landscape, or no, you don't need to know any of this stuff. You just need to know like I want to hold you down and fuck you up, and or like stop me from doing it. You know what I mean? It's like everyone knows how to grapple.
Yeah.
Like humans have been grappling since the beginning of time. Humans, even down the evolutionary chain.
Yeah.
Lizards. When we were lizards, we were grappling together. When we were single-celled organisms, we'd bump into each other.
Yeah.
So I think like people know how to grapple. Just let them grapple. That's my ecological. That's my ecological closing statement.
Yeah.
Let people grapple. Stop trying to tell them how to do things. Stop trying to tell them like what they should do with their body, how they should move. Like just let people grapple, and they'll figure shit out. Like
That term there is self-organization.
self-organization. People will self-organize. Like let people grapple. Like put them in good environments where they can like play and explore and grapple, and like stop trying to like run this like weird power hierarchical system where like you have the knowledge and they don't, because the knowledge exists in all of us. That's my
I'm going to switch the camera. That was really good. Thank you, man.
Shout out Jump Jump. Shout out Jump Jump. Shout out to our sponsors making this happen. Goodbye, my friends. Like and subscribe if you want to learn and become a better grappler and have a laugh.
Follow me on Instagram.
Luke Fairbairn.
Luke Fairbairn.
We'll tag him.
Yeah.
There we go. Thanks.
Awesome.